Within dairy farming, ammonia emission is a much debated subject. Where does ammonia emission originate from? Why is it bad? And how can it be reduced? Ammonia is a chemical compound of nitrogen and hydrogen. It is emitted by traffic, industry, households and agriculture. We call this emission. When the ammonia subsequently is deposited in the air, this is called deposition. This is bad for nature. Ammonia emissions cause pollution, acidification and eutrophication. Some plants and herbs decline, generally as a result of the degradation of their habitats. Rare and unique animal species disappear. Agriculture is the major source of ammonia emissions to the atmosphere in the Netherlands. Half of this is being caused by dairy farming. Ammonia in livestock farming derives from manure and urine in the stable and on the fields. Reducing the ammonia emission can be done in various ways. It starts with the feed ration. As mentioned, ammonia is a chemical compound of nitrogen and hydrogen, and an animal absorbs nitrogen from proteins. Proteins are the most important building material of the body, and is for a large part used for the production of milk. The surplus is excreted in urine and feces. This means that the share of protein in the ration is largely responsible for the produced ammonia emission. The share of protein in the ration can be largely reduced by, for instance, more silage and concentrates poor on proteins, but also better grazing management and mowing at a later date. The optimal share of protein in the ration is approximately 15%, but even then, profits can be made by improving the balance between protein and energy. An optimal nitrogen efficiency can also lead to lower ration costs. A second important issue in reducing ammonia emission are the housing systems of dairy cattle, and mainly storing and handling of manure. The surplus of proteins is excreted in the form of urea in the urine. When urea comes into contact with the enzyme urease in the manure, they react, which results into ammonia. The better manure and urine are properly separated, the less ammonia. It is therefore of importance that manure does not remain on the stable floor too long and manure storage is closed off as much as possible. The choice of a type of stable is important. In the regulations Ammonia and Cattle Farming, the Dutch government has determined various ammonia emission factors, depending on the various stable systems. This is an important factor when applying for a permit. But also in existing stables, measurements can be taken. Frequent skidding of the grid floor and spraying with water ensure a fast drainage of manure. Roof insulation and controlled ventilation limit the evaporation. Sustainable dairy management also means keeping less young stock. More cattle grazing means direct separation of urine and manure, which is why this is a very useful measure to reduce emission. Manure application also creates ammonia. Soil injection is listed among the best available techniques to prevent ammonia emissions in the phase of spreading, with 80% of reduction compared to reference systems. Even weather conditions have their effect. Manure application on a cloudy and rainy day reduces ammonia emission. Not only less emission is ensured, the nitrogen uptake by the crop is higher, which also results in lesser loss of minerals. Ammonia deposition is bad for nature, and dairy farming is largely responsible for this deposition. Fortunately, dairy farmers have many solutions available, while making better use of nitrogen on his farm. These measures are therefore both good for nature as for the economic result of the farmer. With use of all measures, dairy farming in the Netherlands still allows room for growth.